Okay, we're back. Fourth episode. It's been a bit though. Life happened, so
Life happens.
yeah, let's recap. Like, what's going on? Like, what have you been up to?
So let's take it all the way back. Last we really talked, just you and I was going to Iowa versus Ohio State women's basketball game. Senior day.
Yeah.
Senior day, college game day. Holly Rowe and the crew. Who else was there? Travis Scott.
Guy from the guy from why am I drawing a blank?
Oh my God.
You know what I'm talking about.
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso, yeah.
I don't think he was there though. He wasn't there that time.
Are you sure?
Maya Moore. Maya Moore was there. Maya
Yeah,
Moore,
I'm
Travis
more.
Scott.
Did Sue Bird go?
Super did not go. It was sick. College game day let you in from 9 to 10. And by the time we got there, well, first off, we're walking to Carver Hawkeye and it's like ghost town.
Yeah.
And Ellie's like, is there even a game going on today? And I'm like, I just need you to calm down. And we finally walk into Carver, and the whole like one side, pretty much the backdrop of all the hosts,
Yeah.
is just packed. Like it's and there's like fire shooting in the air, and like people are screaming. There's signs everywhere. I mean, by the time 10 o'clock hit, I already had like three tall boy high noons, and that was my breakfast. And I was like, "We're setting the tone. We're setting the tone." Fun fact about Carver is there's no air conditioning.
Really? I didn't know that.
Well, at least there wasn't if you're not on the floor because it was so freaking hot. It was so hot. I was sweating. It was awful. That if I had one complaint about the day, it was Carver was at least like 82 degrees inside. And that day was like a weird day. It was like 85 and cloudy out and like super windy. It was a really weird day, but zero air circulation. Um, it was brutal, but I think you kind of look past that and that game was awesome. And I think yeah, Caitlin passed Maravich's record. They beat Ohio State after losing them earlier that year. Senior night, Molly Davis screws up her knee. Everyone's in tears. We're like, no, Molly, no. So that's how she went out on senior day, but it was pretty epic. Um,
It looked epic from the TV.
it was electric. Like I mean, everyone was standing the whole entire time. It was
I think
nuts.
what people don't realize is like, so I don't know if you saw, but I mean, I watched a little bit of like the WNBA game
Sure.
or a little bit of WNBA games last year, maybe on and off years before.
Same. Yeah.
But now obviously like with players that we've watched all season, like it's more fun, right? Because you know
Yeah.
a bunch of them. And I watched the Connecticut Suns versus the Indiana Fever. Did you see they had a bandwagon cam?
No, I didn't. I
So
didn't.
all the
I only saw the first quarter.
so all the people that were wearing Caitlin Clark stuff or Iowa stuff, they like uh put like them on the screen and on the bottom it said bandwagon cam.
Don't care.
It's
I'm
so
gonna be
funny.
I'm gonna be one of those. I'm wearing, so we're going to Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky.
But you're not a bandwagon Caitlin Clark fan. You've
I'm
always
not, I am a bandwagon Fever fan. However, I will not, and this is not a blow to Fever. I will not purchase Fever apparel if it wasn't for Caitlin, and I'm still not gonna wear Fever stuff. I'm gonna wear my Iowa stuff.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I don't, and if anything, I feel like that's way more rooted and deep than it is for me to be like, oh, let's go buy a 22 Fever jersey.
right. But that's what I'm saying is like people don't realize like when you're talking, like you've always been an Iowa fan. Like I've
Yeah.
been an Iowa fan for a long time. And
Yeah.
but honestly, I'm not Caitlin's not my favorite player, as you
No,
know.
me either.
And I was a fan of the Aces before Kate Martin and Megan Gustafson
Sure.
went there. I will absolutely be getting a Kate Martin Aces jersey. They just came out yesterday.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And Megan Gustafson released some shoes with her
With
dog.
pancake?
Yes.
Yeah, that's sick.
Penny the cake. Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, people were like, "Oh yeah, you're an Iowa fan." I'm like, "No, but you don't get it. I've always been an Iowa fan." Like,
Sure. And that's what people don't get to. And I had this talk with I think it was before the draft, and we were just talking about Iowa in general.
mm,
And they were just like, it's crazy what Caitlin's done, da da da. I'm like, but I don't think you understand is that there's an underlying layer of passion of Iowa fans in general.
for
Like
sure.
purposely, when the football team goes to a bowl, we might not even belong there, but because we bring such a huge following and we make such an economic impact
Right.
on that city
Uh-huh.
for 24 hours, like that is what people don't understand. They're like, oh, like, you're just like, no, like Iowa fans are like rooted in being an Iowa fan. And I think the state of Iowa starts in Iowa City.
Mhm.
And if you're anything other than an Iowa fan in Iowa, like everyone's like, okay.
It's a snub. Yeah, it's a snub. But
Yeah.
like to your point, like, I mean, look at look at what Jan said in her press conference. She was
Yeah.
like there is nobody like Iowa fans. And don't get me wrong, like I think I sent you the picture I have when I went to the game in 2015, the women's game.
Yeah.
That was when I believe that's when Sam Logic was big.
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
a girl that I knew through my friend, I mean, we just happened to be in um, like the same hangout groups from different towns. She was like in a town over from me. Melissa Dixon,
Yeah.
yeah, she played for Iowa. So like, I mean, and there were people, CJ Fedorowicz, who was a
Tight
good,
end.
yeah, a good family friend of mine. Our moms were friends. I was better friends with his sister Paige, who played at Marquette, but like
Sure.
there was always a reason for me to like Iowa, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the
And
fans
I'll
of
give you the pass since you're, not from Iowa. So
that,
I'll
you'll
give
give
you a pass for not
I
being from.
mean, I was a resident of Iowa. Does that count?
Dude, you were there for like 2 years.
Yeah, yeah. Three,
It's okay. It's
three.
okay.
Yeah,
But can we revert back to you spoke about Jan.
yeah,
When I saw Lisa retiring, Lisa Bluter, who that's all I cared about seeing
yeah,
when we saw him in Madison, and then when we were at college game day, and I was literally like down on the floor, and
yeah,
Lisa's like shaking everyone's hands,
yeah.
signing autographs. I'm like, oh my god, it's Lisa. Oh my god, she's a legend. And when I saw that, I was like, I thought she had at least like 10
10,
more years in her.
yeah.
But you're on top.
Mhm.
Like, well, how many like there's gonna be so many, and it's no at fault to the team that they're gonna have now, which I still think will be super competitive. And the fact that it was like an all too soon top 10 for women's basketball, and Iowa wasn't even in it, but Iowa State was.
Yes.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, when you coach for what, almost 40 years, and I know how much time I've missed just coaching and doing it for however many, less than 10 years,
Yeah.
and how much time I've missed. So I can't imagine like having kids and having them be in sports and stuff like that, and being married and having a significant other just be like, yeah, when you want to retire, let me know.
Hmm.
Like that's awesome. So as sad as I was, I mean, they've been grooming her for 20 years to do it.
Like
So
they said, it's the only choice. Like,
it
why
is the
would you
only
go
choice.
out, you know? And I
Yeah.
know the reporters asked like if she had an idea of who the assistant was gonna be, like, and she's like, we have some idea. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
know.
Like maybe they just move up the line and then
Sure.
plug somebody else
I
in.
wouldn't be surprised too if Kate Martin comes back and is like a volunteer assistant something in the next 2 years.
Yeah, when they're not doing, I don't know. I think, to be honest, I think she probably will have more of a successful professional career than in the next, I think probably 2 years. I think she actually got the better end of the stick versus Caitlin. You look at all the veterans that she's surrounded by, like
Yeah.
Joe Wilson, who is the MVP for the WNBA, Kelsey
Kelsey
Plum.
Plum. Yeah.
Um, there was another girl, she got hurt, and I'm gonna draw a blank on her name, who's super good. Um, and then to be like with Megan, I mean, that's tough though. Like Megan's gonna have to work because
Yeah.
I
Well, and
think
she's
it will
been
just really
bounced around.
yeah, it will just really help.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree. I think it's funny because I don't, have you watched Full Court Press?
no, but I want to. I haven't started yet.
Okay, I'm only on episode 2, and
Yeah,
I'm not gonna give anything away, but there is a portion of it that talks about NIL.
yeah.
And the argument of the NCAA was if we create NIL, it will kill women's sports. It's gonna
Oh
kill
wow.
women's sports.
No.
And it was pretty much talking about the evolution of like it did the complete opposite. And it's kind of funny because like you think about like and I could be totally wrong, but this is probably the feminist in me. It's like it's probably a boardroom full of bunch of rich white guys that says like, we can't give these women money. It's gonna kill their sport. Sorry.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if all the football players who are already pocketing money and driving BMWs, could you imagine? Oh, then they're really be. And so I just think it's kind of like a big FU to the NCAA. Because I mean, I remember like going through my master's process and we're talking about women's sports and what's gonna happen to it. And it's so funny because I graduated, what, that was like going on almost 5 years ago.
Mhm.
My cat just tried to jump up on the desk and freaking missed it and just body checked itself into the wall. Okay, sorry. um, but it's so funny that 5 years ago, less than 5 years ago, we were talking about the state of women's sports and what's gonna have to happen in order for people to watch it. And, we even had debates on should college athletes get paid? Shouldn't they get paid? And I was on the side of, yeah, they should. Why shouldn't they? Um, and it's so crazy to see the evolution of it and see it actually happening in real time and the benefits and the growth. And it's just so funny because there's more profitable women's athletes today than there are men.
Mhm.
And
Well, the
that,
thing
like, I
is,
just got the chills.
people don't really understand either that, like, I mean, sure, like people loved watching Caitlin Clark, but I mean, like even when Sean and I were watching, I'm like, oh, that's so and so from that team. Like you start picking up
Yeah,
top
you do
names,
you do your own scouting report.
right? You're like, ooh, Juju Watkins, she's gonna be
Yeah, she's good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right, like or Cameron Brink. Like I didn't even know that that tall, lengthy girl existed at Stanford until I
Sure.
started like really investing in like, okay, if they're gonna play Iowa, like who should I look out for?
Yeah,
And I don't
exactly.
know, I don't know if
Yeah,
it's like the coach in me, but think about this. Um, so Brittany Griner was the face of women's college
sure.
basketball, right? In
Yeah,
her time.
yeah,
And obviously she's gone through some hardships, but a lot of like the media was relating like her safety to the hardship she went through when she travels commercial, right? And
sure.
she's like, hey, this is bullshit. Like we should have chartered flights.
Yeah,
And then Caitlin Clark hits the WNBA and they're
everybody has it.
yeah, everyone
Yeah,
has it. Yeah, you know
and
what I
you
mean?
kind of you wonder too, like, is there resentment,
It,
or
well,
or or is it like, thank God, finally? Because I feel like if I ever listen to Sue Bird talk about it, she's always like, "This is what we've been waiting for. Thank you, thank you, thank you." And
Diana
then there's some
Taurasi's the
other players
opposite.
that is just like,
Diana
yeah,
Taurasi's the opposite, right?
I know.
Uh, but like I think that's kind of what I was talking to a friend. I was like, do you think there's some like bitterness there?
Sure.
Like you've been and she's a phenomenal player. Like they're calling her the White Mamba. I don't know if you know that.
Ooh,
Diana Taurasi. I saw a picture on Facebook
they're
where
calling Diana Taurasi White Mamba?
mhm, yeah,
Okay.
which
I
is
mean, she's like
interesting.
41, isn't she?
Yeah, she's been
Yeah, I
playing.
mean, her longevity is insane, and
Yeah.
I'm sure she has, like, there always has to be, I shouldn't say a bad guy, but,
Hmm.
like, in this narrative, like, imagine if everyone was, like, happy-go-lucky and, like, there always has to be kind of, like, a negative input somewhere to make it a
Yeah, with
story.
Kelsey Plum though too. It's not like
Sure.
she's just gunning for Caitlin Clark like she
Yeah.
did when Kelsey Plum came through.
Yeah.
There's like videos of her just totally gut checking Kelsey
Yeah.
her first game against her. Like, rock on. I'm sure she does the same thing when Phoenix plays Indiana,
Sure.
you
And
know?
and you should, and you should. It's no different when, like, that's the thing too. It's like it's no different if I'm a senior and this freshman comes in and you gotta like knock them down. Which it's like let survival of the fittest happen. Like
Right.
Kaylin had 10 turnovers the other night, still had 20 points and 2.1 million views.
Yeah.
But at the like it was funny because they were talking about it at slow pitch. They're like, "Oh, did you see Kaylin?" And I was like, "She had 10 turnovers. It was trash."
Well, and it's funny because there was the picture that I saw was referencing that and it says it's a picture of Diana. It says, I said what I said, right? Meaning that she's
Yeah.
gonna get a reality check because I mean, it was funny. Sean and I were watching, we're like, damn, they really let them play. Like they're pushing
Yeah, they
around.
do.
And Caitlin's not used to that. She's used to
No.
drawing fouls and getting, I mean, she was in
Yeah.
foul trouble, what, in the first quarter?
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Like,
think what I love about WNBA is that if I ever have a son, they're never gonna watch the NBA. They're gonna watch the WNBA and be like, "This is how fundamentally sound you have to play." And it's not about like how many shots you get off, like dirty like plays or anything like that. Like you have to be fundamentally sound in order to win.
mhm,
And I think that's something that people are finding starting to finally realize too is that even though the WNBA wasn't televised, they are like the best at their craft. And
yeah,
it's no knock to the W or to the NBA. It's just like you're watching two different games,
yep,
two different styles of play. One's for entertainment and one's for like weird. There's only 12 teams and 11 to 12 people per team.
yep,
Like we're paying to put food on our table and hopefully not have to go overseas or whatever what and be a
mhm,
fucking accountant the rest of the
right,
year. Like
yeah, absolutely,
I think that's and that to me I can get behind because to me that's more like college sports.
right, absolutely. Like
And
the
that's why I can
investment,
tolerate it a million times more
mhm.
with that. I will say there was another thing I saw and it was a video. Okay, we got to touch on two things.
All right,
I'm gonna talk about the good one, and
okay,
it's we're staying on the Kansas City Chiefs threshold. Okay.
okay.
Number one, Patrick Mahomes had an amazing speech the other night. I don't know what it was at, but it was at some show dinner. I think the gist on Instagram posted it. Do you follow the gist?
No, what is it?
Gee, it's like women's sports.
Oh, I just women's sports.
The gist USA.
Um,
I think they posted it. I can't remember. Okay. So I don't know where this was at, but Patrick Mahomes spoke at some dinner and he gave a speech of like, I'm so happy that one, we just created the Kansas City, is it current, the all women's only women's soccer arena in the world in Kansas
oh
City.
wow, I didn't know that.
Yep. So, yeah, Kansas City current part owner Patrick Mahomes during 100 gala toast. Time 100 host,
Great. Okay.
whatever. And he said, I'd like to raise a glass to a new era in sports, an era where the women's game is finally getting the attention it deserves. And he talked about, I'm so happy I helped with um, this field and bringing this to Kansas City. I'm pretty sure his wife played soccer.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, she was an athlete. They went to
yeah.
college and high school together, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And then he talks about, I have a daughter. I want her to see this. And he's pretty much, let's raise a glass to this evolution that we're seeing.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because you hear him talk about that. And then I don't know, did you hear Harrison Butker, the kicker for Kansas City, his commencement speech to Benedictine University?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna read a quote to you. This
Um,
is all the buzz. This was even on the Today Show today, and people were talking about it all day yesterday. I'm like, guys, what are you talking about? Um, and it was nuts. It was for the ladies present today, congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you achieved in this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have been the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now, about to cross the stage, and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on and lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. That was just the opening quote.
oh,
He goes on to talk about pretty much insinuates abortion, gay pride month should not be about pride is a not the sin that you hear about that has a whole month worth of celebrating, pretty much what he's saying. Pride in something else. My beautiful wife Isabel would be the first to say her life truly started when she began her vocation as a wife and as a mother.
is he real? He's got to be like really religious, right?
He is super religious, which
But
to each their
fine,
own.
yeah.
Um,
But what, Roman Catholic?
yes, very Catholic.
Yeah.
Um, and so it pretty much just goes on, just him talking about his beliefs. And the NFL came out and said Harrison Bucker, whatever his name is, his beliefs aren't our beliefs. And then I love Hoda Kotb on the Today Show. And when they were talking about it, she like tweeted or put on Instagram "If I Was a Man" by Taylor Swift when she saw her live. And then she goes, "I'm posting this for kicks."
Oh
No.
my God.
And I was like, so there's like a lot of backlash on it. So it's just so funny to me that like within 24 hours I read something about Patrick Mahomes and how like he's like, oh my God, women are so great, they're so empowering, whatever. And
Yeah.
then you have like his teammate who's like pretty much, and I could be saying this and coming off wrong, but like get in the kitchen, be a wife.
Well, yeah, the traditional
Yeah. And then
you
he also talked about masculinity too, and
damn.
how men are being demasculated and all these
Yeah.
things. It was pretty much like, and he got a standing ovation, which blew my mind. And they interviewed, someone got on their Instagram, that was a girl, and she was in the ceremony, and they said she like did a video, and someone said like, please give me your reaction from this speech, and she goes, I did not stand up, my two roommates did not stand up, and maybe 10 to 15 other girls did not stand up when he was finished. And she
So
said
like
it,
other women were standing.
yes.
Damn. That's crazy.
And she said it was like, she's like, it was the worst. It was the worst day. Didn't even feel like a graduation. And like that's the thing is it's Benedictine University, which I'm not surprised. It's probably a private Catholic school. Where you, and but it's just so funny because I just could never say those things. And vice versa. Like I would never go and be a commencement speaker and be like, be gay.
Yeah.
Otherwise straight sucks.
Yeah.
Like don't you ever cook your significant other a
Yeah.
meal. DoorDash that shit. You can do what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
would, if anything, I'm saying be what you want to be. You want to
Yeah.
stay
Yeah.
home wife? Great. You want to go and run the world? Great. But I
Right.
would never like, yeah.
Dude, that is wild.
I need you to watch it because
I'm going
you'll
to.
just feel with rage.
I
Just
can't.
rage.
You know what? I want to say I can't believe it, but I can, unfortunately, because
Sure.
it can be extreme both ways, right?
I
Like
agree. I
I
agree.
think there what is it like know your audience, time and place. Like this
Sure.
is about like talking. I mean, you look at some of the most memorable commencement speeches like that Navy admiral talks about, get up and make your bed every morning. They say
Sure.
the habits you create are
Yeah.
life you're going to live, and all these like goal setting,
Yeah.
motivational, like go kick ass in
Yeah.
life. And then he uses it as like a political tool to
I
like,
know.
bestow
I just
beliefs on everyone.
I I was I was like I would have walked out if that was my graduation and knowing that like I follow under all those categories that he's preaching against.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
There were actually, I can't remember what it was for, but there was a lot of people that walked out of certain commencement speeches due
sure.
to not agreeing with whatever
Yeah.
was being said. And it's like, hey, like to each its own, but I feel like as a university, you just have to do a better job to kind of speaking to the masses versus,
Yeah.
starting that using it as like a political tool to say, hey, I'm in front of however many hundreds of thousands of people, and this is what I believe. And people, you should believe it because I make a shitload of money, and I'm an NFL kicker,
Yeah.
and whatever, right? Like if it was flipped around, if like you were saying, if somebody came and did a commencement speech and they were like, be gay, do this, do that, people would lose their minds.
My lose die like just the place would burn down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think like part of me is like, no wonder, yeah, your wife's a stay-at-home wife. You are an NFL player.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to work. I'm sure she makes great dinners.
Yeah.
Got one job. She's got one job.
Oh, dude. And yeah, like
I
this.
don't know. I get it. Like my mom, stay-at-home mom,
Yeah.
4 kids, great, love her, but
Mhm.
she's never been one to be like
But it was a choice she made.
a man. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. If my sisters all do. My sister is her own employer. She cuts hair. She has her own clientele. My
Yep.
other sister lives in Manhattan and is the head bitch in charge and is single and runs the world.
Yeah.
Um, me, gay, there it is. So it just like I don't know. It's just crazy and I think what's more striking to me is that he's probably closer to like our age
Yeah.
and I think that is probably what throws like if it was somebody in their 60s, baby boomer, not
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah.
But I think like with time and evolution and all these things and the world is changing and I think that's what was throwing people off as well is
Yeah.
yeah, so I want you to watch that. That's your homework. I need you to watch that, and then I need you to come back with a full report.
Yeah.
Watch them both. Watch both. Do both.
Yeah.
I don't care which order you watch it in. Just watch both and let me know what you think.
Commencement speech.
Yeah.
Got it.
Um.
Report. Dude, so tell me about though, like different topic. Tell me about Maddie.
Oh
I'm
yeah, Maddie Anderson. Whitewater. They're playing today. Actually, guess where their regional is?
Florida
Central. Pella.
and you're not going?
Their times are trash.
Yeah.
I was gonna go because I'm going to Iowa tomorrow, but so they play, I don't know, they actually might be playing soon. So long story short, last we had talked to Maddie, we were like, Maddie, what do you think about this year? Da, 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 da. I think we're gonna do it. I think we're gonna take it. We're gonna win the conference championship. Mind you, I went to one of their games against UW Oshkosh. UW Oshkosh was undefeated when they played them. They
Yeah,
were
I saw
ranked.
that they're doing really well.
They're doing really well. Maddie's pitching against them. 13-1. Not her best game. Teeing off on her. I talked to her after the game. I'm like, buddy, it's all right. And she's
Yeah,
just like, I'm like, they're good. And it wasn't like, little like duck snorts. Like they were shooting the gaps, like over the fence. And I'm laughing because like when I don't know what to say, and
yeah,
I'm like so proud of her. And my and JJ, one of my other players, she's catching for her, so she's the freshman.
yeah,
And I'm like laughing. I'm like, what's wrong? And Maddie goes, Andrea, if we can't beat them, we're not winning conference. And I'm like, that's a fair assessment.
yeah.
I end up going home after the first game. Second game, it was doubleheader. Second game, they beat them on a walk-off. Whitewater does. Gives them the first loss of their season. So
What was
I was
the score
like,
though? Was it below 5?
yeah, it was below. I think it was like 6-7 or something like that. It was a one-run game. It was
Yeah,
6-7. It was 3-4. I can't remember, but I was watching it when I got home because I was like, I went home because I was like, it was super windy, it was chilly, and I was like, if the second game is gonna be like the first game, I love you guys. I'm not saying like
yeah,
I'm gonna watch it on my phone
yeah.
at home. Um, so yeah, by the time I got home, it
They
was like
hosting? Oh, so you went to Whitewater, right?
I went to Whitewater. Yes, 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 yes. So this was regular season. Um, Oshkosh wins the conference. So they gave them their first conference loss and their first loss of the season.
Okay.
Oshkosh hosts the WEAC tournament last weekend. Whitewater beats them, 1-run game. Oshkosh had to go through the losers bracket,
Mhm.
and they end up having to play Oshkosh. Now, mind you, Oshkosh would have had to beat them twice,
Yeah.
and Whitewater beat them again. And Maddie didn't pitch either game.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Which she was happy about. Like, this is funny. So Maddie with her scoliosis,
Yep.
not her car accident, her
Yeah.
scoliosis, she hit majority of the season, but it just put a lot of strain on her back.
Yeah.
So she would come in and hit rarely towards the end of the season. She goes in and pinch hits for JJ. So like my assistant hitting for my player.
Yeah.
Maddie hasn't seen a pitch in a week. She hasn't seen live in a week.
Yeah.
She gets up there. This is against Oshkosh to get to tie the game.
Yeah.
She gets up there, gets saws off, jam job, hits it a duck snort behind the shortstop's head, and they tie the game. And I'm texting her and I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. I was like, one, if I was your coach, I'd kill you for swinging at the first pitch.
Yes.
Literally, first pitch, cold, zero,
Never
no
has. Yeah.
BP, nothing.
Yeah.
Second, way to get it done.
Yeah.
Somehow you had to do it. She's like, it was right down the middle. I was like, dude, you got sawed off so hard. Like that wasn't even close to middle. Um, so that was funny. So they ended up beating Oshkosh in the championship. Only took one game. Brenda says, I don't want to host. I don't want to host our regional. So she didn't even put in a bid. So they got the draw at Central, House of George Wares. So they play today. They play Bethel today out of Minnesota.
Mhm.
Central plays UW Superior. And if whoever wins, they play at 11 o'clock tomorrow. And I was like, that's so inconvenient. Like I'd have to wake up at 5 to get there by game time. I am nowhere close to being ready to go for my personal things. There's no way I'm going to be able to make it to Pella. Um, so I called her and I was like, listen, if you play Central, this is what you got to prepare for. One, he doesn't have a bunt sign. He just screams bunt.
He does.
Two, his steal sign, it never changes. He grabs his shirt and goes like this. Watch for the sneaky steal.
Years and years, dude.
Years and years. Three, he has a playlist that has never changed, and each song is matched up to what their pregame is. Four, they do a weird cultish dance.
Yeah.
5, it's tulip time. Don't touch the tulips. You'll get arrested. People come from all over the world to see the tulips. Don't touch the tulips.
Don't do
So anyway, she's like, okay, okay, I'll tell Brenda. Okay,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not kidding. I was like, if you watch their game against Superior, you're gonna see him do these things. And he is a psych major, a psych professor. He's all
Yeah.
about getting in your head before the game even starts.
Yeah.
He is a Hall of Fame coach for a reason, and he's been coaching forever. And he's only been at Central.
Dude, I forgot about all that when I was coaching at Dubuque. I remember the tulips. And it's
Yeah.
weird, if I remember correctly, I can vividly see the field and what it looks like, but I can't remember like the surrounding area.
It's
But
like
as you were
downtown.
no, surrounding area of the field.
Oh, so you behind the third base dugout, you have the football stadium.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Straight out center field, there's like a fieldish, and then it's
Yes.
a baseball field.
Yep.
And then I think like right field is like a parking maintenance area type thing. Um, yeah, it's a tough place to play. I don't think people understand how hard that conference is. And I would say the two most competitive conferences, well, it was IAC, ARC, American Rivers Conference, and the WEAC. I think are the two hardest Division III
Yes.
conferences.
What? Central, Luther, uh,
Wartburg, they're all
oh,
in.
yeah. They're all
Um,
great, yeah.
Actually, I don't know if Luther's in. I don't know if Luther got in. I know for sure I know Wartburg.
But when we
Um,
were playing, Luther was, or when I was
Cream of the
coaching too,
crop.
huh?
Luther was the best.
Yeah.
It was always either Central or Luther. They were always playing each other in the championship. Always, always,
Yeah.
always. So, anyways, they're playing. I gotta look up their schedule. I think they're starting today. She texted me yesterday. She's like, I'm in the great state of Iowa. And I was like, yeah, you are.
Yeah, you
You are.
are.
Don't touch the tulips. Don't touch them. Don't even look at them.
People forget what Pella's Dutch, right?
Yeah, it's Dutch. It is like a Dutch, what's that called? When they come and stay, migration. Historically Dutch. It's just historically
Yeah.
Dutch.
Yeah, I remember that.
Hence the tulip time. And I remember when we played, it was probably after you were gone. Actually, it might have been when I was coaching at UD. We're leaving in our coach bus, but then all these other coach buses pull in, and it's all these tourists coming to look at the tulips. Like it's an
It's
event.
stuff, yeah.
People come from all over the world to do it. So yeah. And I also said you're not allowed to live off campus unless you're married. Dry county, also a dry county. No alcohol.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You
So
know a lot about Pella.
I just, I am useful for useless information. Um, so yeah, I just tried to give them as
Yeah.
much as if they play them. So yeah, Whitewater's doing well, and we'll see. With that being said, I've gotten a lot of phone calls about my children hitting the transfer portal. Got quite a few.
Yeah, they do that, don't they?
A lot of Twitter updates. I think it's funny how it's like your unofficial transfer portal where it says like after prayers and consideration, I'm entering the transfer portal on May 19th. Da, 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 da. It's like a loophole. It's a
Mhm.
loophole to announce,
Mhm.
and then obviously you can't be contacted until then. But I think it's just so funny and crazy, and you're seeing kids 2, 3 years left to play. Because now we're running out. I mean, wouldn't this year be the last year of COVID year?
Close. Yeah, yeah, but it depends on if there's like a medical red shirt in there or whatever. It'd
Sure,
be the
but I'm saying
anomaly.
that
Yeah,
the COVID gimme. I think the
yeah,
COVID
but
gimme is
yeah,
pretty
we
much
should
up.
should be coming up towards the last. Yeah, which
So it's funny, and I had a talk with one of my players, and she says she's like it was a hard conversation in okay, do you like the culture? Do you like the school? Do you like your major? Do you like your professors? This and that, but I'm not playing. Otherwise, I'd say you need to fall on that sword and you just had a bad year.
Mhm.
But it wasn't that. It was pretty much everything I said and then some. I was like, okay, you're not happy. And no matter, and she was on a full scholarship. And I just said, your happiness comes first. And guess what? You just wasted a year. Not wasted. You just lost one. You lost a year. You did work hard. You were told, you're great. I wish everyone had the work ethic like you. However, she was already put in a box before she returns. And she's just like, I just want to play. I just want to play. I just want to play. And she's like, I want to go Division 3. And I'm like, where were you the 20 other conversations I had with your whole group about is playing important to you? If playing's important to you and you're not hitting 400 in travel and you're not, a consistent fielder, it's really hard to start as a freshman Division 1. Really hard. And I think Maddie said that too when we were talking to her. And not that some of these girls had to learn the hard way, but it was like it's so funny because you don't know until you're in it.
Yeah.
Like we can give them all advice. I mean, that's part of like that is your job as a whole is to find people's homes and you just want the best for them, but it's also like, no, you should stay. My advice, you should stay. And then I had another one say like, hey, I think I want to go Division 3. Oh, but this random D1 um reached out to me. And I'm like, do we have to have this conversation? Are we having this
You know what's
conversation?
super frustrating is um a lot of this, and I think maybe we've talked about this or I've talked about this before. Um, and I believe that it was Shauna Wright who used to play for UW. Um, oh yeah, we talked about that on a podcast I did with her. And her wife Maddie, who also played at UW, and they were talking about how the game has changed and values have changed because, or people don't consider their values because they compare themselves to their peers. So
Sure.
like, so like, what's really frustrating, and I see it every single day. Athletes I've coached, or when I was coaching in Washington, like who went to JUCOs, and some have went to two JUCOs, um, like first year total, like total stellar, like freshman year statistically, but the team sucked. It's like people don't realize that like it's okay to be the best player on a lower caliber team, but if you can pitch to a college coach that your competitors are good, right? So like, let's
Mhm.
say they're the lower caliber team in a highly competitive conference and you're hitting 400, who cares about the record, right? Like
Exactly.
leave JUCO to go to other JUCO that is top of their conference, sees 4 at bats. Super
Exactly.
unhappy. Now, how am I supposed to sell to a college coach that you're any good because you have 4 game appearances?
And I agree with that. I mean, let's face it, JUCO's the original transfer portal.
Right.
But I totally agree with that when you're going 4 year to 4 year. Sure, I can show you travel ball film. That's not going to tell me anything.
No.
And so when I'm talking to a coach and they're like, okay, I can tell her personality wise, I will die for kids. Be like, I'll never lie. And I can say super coachable, this, and that. But they're like, okay, how'd they do at their previous school? 4 at bats,
Yeah.
didn't really play. Like that's so tough
Yeah.
to convey.
Mhm.
And you find that what do I want to call them? I feel like I want to coin something here. Schools that hit the portal blind and
Mhm.
just try to get anybody to respond. I want to call that something. Um
Wait, you saying athletes or schools that do that? When you hit the
Schools, well, you could say both, but I get annoyed with schools that go into the portal blind and just try to get bodies.
yeah, yeah,
And then players are like, "Oh, They want me.
Mhm.
I'm wanted. Because sometimes that's all a player want. Like, you want to be wanted. Okay, yeah, they want like, okay, their list is this long. Let's see. Let's contact every single second baseman in the portal and see what we get.
That's well, to me, right? Like you have to ask yourself then, and this is what kids don't really understand because they don't understand like that back office talk, right? Um, intent matters, right? Like
Yeah.
for me, if one of my kids and what I do now full time came to me and was like, I had, you know, X amount of schools reach out to me first, and I'll be like, okay, well, like how much they're doing research on you statistically as a that's it. They haven't asked you what are your values. They haven't asked you
What's your
are
major?
what's your major,
Yeah.
none of it, right? And to me, like that is, and it's hard to tell kids, hey, like pay attention to the intent, pay attention to the intent. All they give a shit about is announcing their next school or announcing that they committed, verbally committed 1 September of their junior year, like, or in D2, what is it, June, I think it's June 1st of,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that's super frustrating. Um, but I think that's why kids don't um end up staying. Like one of my former athletes just sent me, I'll have to send it to you. I won't name the school, but sent me a TikTok. I don't have TikTok, but a
Me
TikTok
either.
of a former collegiate player that's now a professional player um getting ready and basically saying, hey, while I get ready, I don't know if this is totally going to backfire on me, but I'm going to tell you why I left the school that I did and transferred. And going like in the need, I would say for somebody who like you and I who really understand college athletics, like that is like ballsy, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
saying
You want to get
this,
blacklisted?
yeah,
Here you
so
go.
but did it after she completed her collegiate career, and it's like, okay, now you're just
Wow.
being petty, right?
Yeah.
Like super toxic. She was like, I thought about quitting after or during games multiple times. X amount of players have essentially, I don't know if that's true, left this program um between this period and this period. I transferred to X school and now I'm batting 400. It just goes to show that like your ability to play is that, like at the leader, right? Like at the leader
Yeah.
level of, and do I agree with that? Sure. But does the fact that I think perception is not always reality when you perceive that, um,
Yeah.
like let's say for instance, I perceive that you're being like petty towards me or like aggressive or condescending. That doesn't mean that that is your intent, right?
Sure.
It could be coaching style doesn't match to coachability, right? But
Yep.
you don't know that if you've shaken hands with 4 colleges that have given you offers, and the moment that you're on campus, you're on a high, right? Like to me,
Yeah.
you go and visit all these schools, and then you're like, okay, this is the last school I'm gonna visit. Not sure
Yeah.
why, right? Because it's your junior year and you have some time. This is the last school I'm gonna visit. While you're there, not even you're just comparing it to the other schools that have offered you,
Yeah.
not the other school that's potentially interested.
Sure.
You commit in their office on the spot because I don't know what they gave you more money. I have no
Yeah.
idea, right? Like, so it's kind of funny to me because athletes are always, and don't get me wrong, there are some shitty coaches out there, right?
Sure.
But athletes always seem to blame the approach of the coaching staff or the intent of the coaching staff with no accountability of being like, hey, you know what? This school just wasn't for me. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't, the coaching tactics did not match my coachability.
Yeah.
Good to go. There's
And I
always,
feel like kids that are able to say that
yeah,
are the ones that are successful.
yeah,
Like, yeah, it might not have worked out your first year or first semester, whatever it is, But if you're able to reflect that based on yourself,
Mhm.
not on the people around you or the staff,
Right.
I think that says way more about the kid than I can't stand when kids are like, "Oh, my coach is the worst," or what, and yeah, like you said, there are shitty coaches out there, but
Yeah.
that was a lot of, and I'm sure you've had these same conversations too, is like, that's a lot of the foundation of the conversation we have that I have with my kids of wanting to transfer is like, "W why?" Because if you just say, "I don't like my coach," I don't feel bad for you.
Mm. No.
I
And
don't,
the
unless
crappy
you
part is like investment me investing in a kid looks different than how you invest in a kid,
Sure.
right? Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't make me any better than you and vice versa.
yeah,
I think a lot of it, unfortunately, has to do with, like, the attention that kids do or don't get, right?
mm,
From a coach, right? Like, um, are they not talking to me because and I look at this all encompassing, right? Am I not getting coached because I'm not trying? Or am I not getting coached because I'm not asking questions?
sure,
Am I not getting coached because, like, I coach kids who try hard, ask questions, support their teammates, what have you. If you're not that kid, I don't spend a lot of time investing in you because
yeah,
I want to invest in kids who are invested A in the program, but B in the environment that I'm trying to set.
yeah,
So there's no like look in the mirror type question. And the easy answer is it's almost like new state, same problems, right? Like
sure,
you don't just pick a new place, same problems. Like if you don't change, it doesn't matter where you
yeah,
go, right? Like
yeah,
if you have that like reflective conversation with yourself, doesn't matter where you go, you're gonna have the same problems. And that's why kids constantly move, right? They're always like, well, maybe I could go here. And a lot of it's about winning, which is super frustrating.
yeah,
People don't want to be a part of building programs. They want to be a
yep,
part of winning programs.
'cause it's
Um,
easy.
yeah, I mean, look at so like, while we're on that topic, look at like Riley, right? I mean, Riley Stockton, who did great things at Montana,
Mm,
regardless to her heart condition, regardless to her shoulder tear.
sure,
Um, there were kids that stayed in that program regardless to whether or not they were winning. I mean,
right,
yeah, they're restructuring their coaching staff probably for the better, just something new, right? But like kids easily could have Riley easily could have left. She had athletes that are teammates that stayed with her the 4 years that she was there, regardless to whether or not they were successful. They were like 1-18 in conference. I think they maybe won I can't remember, 4 or 8 games this entire
yeah,
season. And they a lot of those games they were getting blown out.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But still stayed.
yeah,
Like because
no,
she loved Montana, loved her teammates, loved, the surrounding area.
yep,
Like it was just enough, right?
yeah, no, and I feel like I can relate to that, and that's what I tell a lot of my kids is I say like, "Listen, you have 4 years of playing, but you're investing in your life.
Mhm.
You wanna be able to call those people that you have created relationships with 5, 10, 20 years down the road and say, 'Hey,
Mhm.
I need this. I would love to come back for my master's. Can I use,' I can't even tell you, I probably have gotten at least 10 texts from former players asking me if I can be a reference for them. And that's within from sophomores in college, freshmen to even juniors in high school right now. Like those years of kids that I've coached asked me to be a reference.
Right.
And I try to tell them, you want me now, you need to look for those relationships in your future.
Mhm.
You need to keep making those types of relationships so when you do go to school, when you do
Right.
play for a team, if you do transfer, all those things, you don't wanna burn bridges and you want to that's an investment in yourself. I am like nothing makes me more proud. I for me to make a phone call for them
Mhm.
when they think of me.
Yeah.
And I try to convey that when I say when you're picking a school, it's the same concept. The same concept. That's a community within itself. That's why there's booster clubs. That's why they have alumni games. Like, the best cultured teams always have an alumni game every year.
Mhm.
There's always a shit ton of girls that show back up. Like, those are those things that I wish kids would know, or something that maybe we need to teach more of, is that investment that goes vertically and not horizontally.
Well, it's funny you say that. You talk about investment, you talk about, recommendations, what have you. And um, it's funny, even, like Sean and I were talking just about youth soccer, right? Like,
Mhm.
um, and like I was told my kids, like, if you ask about playing time, not gonna play, especially in a game, right?
Sure.
But when you look at a community like the college softball structure, what have you, um, you best believe that if a kid leaves, regardless to whether or not teams are competitors, kid leaves and they're about to take another kid, they're gonna pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, so how's so and so?" Right? Like the people talk, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the community is so small, so to your point about not really burning bridges, like it's super important that people remember that, like that coach that you talked all that smack about, like,
I need her.
yeah, their phone is ringing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Their phone is ringing for the new home, and you best believe that you
Yeah.
can make, the best impression that you can, regardless of whether or not it's
Yep.
toxic or negative. Um, so before we close, what about let's maybe pick regional picks
We're
for
gonna. I'm writing them down as we're talking because I wanna, but yeah, let's do it because we both said I have not watched enough softball.
either have
I'm only going on
oh
who's new to the party, and who's historically done well.
okay. Well, okay, so wait, let's just go from left to right. We'll start in the Austin regional. Um who yeah,
Oh,
CN.
so Texas, Siena, Northwestern, St. Francis of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna go Texas. One, I don't like them. I don't like Mike White. However, I do appreciate someone besides Oklahoma being the number one overall seed. So I'm gonna go Texas there. I don't know about you.
I feel like it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Like I always
Right.
try to root for the underdog, but I don't think in this situation with how successful Texas has been this year.
I don't think Northwestern has it.
I don't. I love Northwestern. I love their coaches.
Likewise.
But no. So Texas for the Austin regional.
Mm-hmm.
For College Station, again, would love. I mean, you Albany. Like I knew somebody who played there. Crazy.
I know some, I shouldn't say I know, but I know a girl that I coached at Syracuse. Her little sister plays for them now, and she actually originally verbally committed to us when she was in 8th grade while I was there. It was the cutest thing. Now she's at Albany. Never went to Cuse, but that's my only tie to Albany. I did do a camp there. Um, but yeah, sorry. It was
Like
fun.
I
Good.
want to see underdogs win, but like
I do too, but
looking
to
at
me, I think shout out to Penn State. They
yeah,
have
great
been
Big Ten.
terrible for years and years, and they finally broke through with their new coach. Texas State, always competitive. However, I hate saying it, but
Texas A&M.
sometimes you just
Yeah,
gotta go with
Texas
the top.
A&M. Yep. Okay. Baton Rouge going with LSU no matter what, just because I love their softball program.
I do too. I
Hate
love
their basketball program, but love their softball
same,
program. Uh,
same. I will say a dark horse in this. I've watched Southern Illinois play. They're really good. Really, really good.
Like
But
props to them because I mean, they're in conference, they're never playing caliber teams
no,
like and
no.
like LSU and Cal. Like,
Yeah, no, and I will say also Cal, welcome back to the club because they have been historically not good since oh, what's her name? That pitcher, her last name's Henderson. Jolene Henderson.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was the last time they were good, and that was like 10 years ago. But I will say, love LSU, love Kelly Lynch, Washington transferred, wheeling and dealing, probably her best year she's had in her career, and it's her last one at LSU. So
I'd love to see yeah, I would love to see Southern beat Cal. That's the matchup.
that
LSU
is, yeah, that would be cool. I think it's doable. I
at
want to
least
say
show.
Cal's coach was on ESPN because she like threw hands at the umpire or something.
Oh yeah, she went ballistic.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
no, it was the assistant that was arguing a call, which you're not allowed to do. The head coach has to approach the official and she started going like batshit
yeah,
crazy. Yeah, it
yeah.
was I can't remember what game it was, but I remember seeing that and I was like, holy, she went, my kids say totally feral on him.
Oh,
Totally crazy. Yeah.
uh-huh. I get it. I understand
Oh,
Farrell. Wow.
okay.
Yeah, I
What
got
about
LSU, Stanford, Cal Fullerton,
would
St.
love
Mary, Mississippi
would
State.
love to see Mississippi State or St. Mary's pull out, but not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. I'm going to Stanford.
We're so boring.
We're so boring, but I think that's where it gets this first round's always interesting. I think Stillwater Regional is gonna be tough.
Yeah.
I think Kentucky's always consistent every year. They can never pull out an SEC championship, but they're always just consistently good.
Northern
Uh,
Colorado, they've been really good just the last couple of years. They were not good before. The fact that they've made it this far, big deal.
mhm.
Um,
Um,
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma's, I probably have them winning it, but I will say Michigan getting back into the tournament after last year being the first year in like decades of never or not being in the tournament. I don't think they have it yet. They don't have all the pieces yet, but yeah, I'm gonna go OSU,
Tell
even
you
though
what though,
I don't like them.
Northern Colorado drew the shortstop straw playing. I said they didn't draw it, but Oklahoma State first. But yeah, okay, it has to be OSU.
Who we got? Fayetteville.
What a terrible place to play a regional, Fayetteville.
I agree. I will say I could see Arizona upsetting out of that regional.
Well, yeah, they'll play Villanova first. Southeast Arkansas will beat South. Yeah, potentially, potentially. I don't know.
I
Arkansas is really good this year. I'm gonna go Arkansas.
fine. Okay. We're so lame.
I know. I
Raging
want to
Cape.
see. Okay, so only I want to see Ole Miss just because I have a kid I coached when she was 10. She played at the
Oh,
U of
that's cool.
I. She played at the U of I and then transferred to Ole Miss for her last eligibility year for her master's. Delaney Rummel, total total badass. I'm gonna pull Ole Miss just because I have to because I feel
Oh man.
they upset quite a bit of people this year. Um,
I could argue Baylor.
Baylor's good too.
I hate Baylor, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna I'm gonna go Baylor. That's my this oh my god, this regional.
Gainesville's a no-brainer, unfortunately.
But I will say I can see both FAU and South Alabama upsetting somebody, but not
Not
finishing.
Florida. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate Florida.
To be
But
honest, it kind of blows the way that some of this is set up because I mean, I get it, right? The RPI is
Yeah.
thing, but okay, so let's go back up to the top. Uh Knoxville. Would
Oh, I
love to
will
see
say,
Miami, Ohio pull it.
Spade, she played for Silverhawks, Denison Silverhawks, and we always played them in like either a semi or a championship.
Yeah,
She's so good. She was good then, and she's really freaking good now.
I want
Um,
I want to pick Miami, Ohio because people were like, Miami, Ohio, who? Like I've known I mean, you grew up in the
yeah,
Midwest, Miami, Ohio, but
it's
be awesome
Tennessee.
to beat Tennessee.
I think this Tuscaloosa regional will be a bloodbath between Clemson and Alabama.
Yep. Without I'm gonna choose Alabama though. I don't want to, but
I don't want to either. If Clemson still had, wait, is Cagle still there? The pitcher at Clemson? She's
uh,
still there? She graduated. I can't remember.
I can't remember if she was a junior or senior last year.
It's gonna come down to Georgia and Liberty and Athens.
Mhm.
Love me some Dot. Listen to her as a keynote speaker for the Colorado Sparkler tournament.
Yeah. She's
Um, she's great.
uh UCLA. I feel like that one's I think
That to me is a hard regional.
it is a hard regional. I mean, I think it'll be a good game between VT and San Diego State, but um it has to be UCLA.
It has to be. It
GCU.
has to be.
Um,
GC is always in the tournament.
dude, Missouri is back. Yes.
This regional is hard for me. This
I
is
think
hard.
I was gonna take it. Washington's not good this year.
I think their hitting has been great. I don't think they have the depth in the circle as much as they
Did
have.
with Gabby. Yeah.
However, I'm still picking them.
I'm not. Um,
I do love that Mizzou is back. I think
yes,
Larissa
he was back.
has done an amazing job. She's never wavered. She took them when, I mean, who was there? What's her face?
She went when I was in high school.
Oh, yeah, but who was that pitcher? Oh my God. She got arrested last year for meth.
I don't remember.
Paige Lowry.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so this Durham one though,
Yeah,
super
Durham will be
awesome that
tough.
Duke has gotten better.
Dude, Duke, I watched their ACC matchups in the tournament. They went, I think, 14 innings their first game.
Yes,
The next day played 10.
yes.
Like, I think they're scrappy as hell.
I'm still
Um,
gonna pick. I'm still gonna pick the U of U. Just
I'm not.
I am because Kaya Gibson, a friend of mine. I can't. I
I'm picking Duke, and
and
I'll,
they're and I mean Duke and U of U are that's gonna be a good game. They're an underdog. Both of them
yeah,
are. While Duke's ranked, like no one, Duke is known for basketball, and that's it. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Oh, you're right. Um, yeah, but also the head coach's husband that owns Lady Duke's Lamar, he had that huge cardiac arrest or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So I have Duke.
I'm
This
gonna.
one's one for me.
I want to pick.
Florida State's not had the best year. I have a kiddo. I shouldn't say I have her, but a kid that she's going to UCF in
Yeah,
2025.
they they've struggled the last 2 years.
Who?
Well, I mean, they haven't gone far into postseason. UCF hasn't. They do well, but they
They
haven't
do
gone far.
well. I think they're gonna upset. I think Florida, I think Cocha always just figures it out. She always finds a way, whether it's a pinch hit. Um, I just think it's just
I think. I mean, yeah. What? I mean, well, Coach Bear is at UCF, and then why am I drawing a blank? The Canadian Jen.
um
Can't remember,
Jen.
can't remember her last name, but
Um,
Coach Bear was a Washington. Uh,
yep. So was no, Coach Bear was an assistant on Team USA with
Yeah,
Heather
but
Chalk.
she was also at Washington as an assistant.
Yep.
Her and Jen. So I think
I
I'm gonna
know. I would love UCF to upset, and because they're entering the Big 12 next year, so I think that'll be a good like welcome to the Big 12
yeah.
situation. Oh wait, or are they in the Big 12 this
They're in the
year?
Big
Oh,
12 this year.
are they?
Yeah.
Yes, they are. This is their first year. Duh.
I
Um,
think I think Auburn will beat them though.
I know, and this is Mickey's last year at Auburn, head
Yep.
coach, cowboy hat Mickey. So,
I think
that's
I'm
a
gonna
tough.
say I would love AU to upset Florida State. I don't know that it'll happen, but
I don't like it.
dude, and Boston is in the postseason.
Go
What?
Terriers.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's winning.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's winning. It was fun. It was fun while it lasted. Oklahoma's winning it all. I
No.
shouldn't say winning it all. I don't know who's gonna win it all this year. I don't know enough.
Yeah.
Oh, anybody? I love that it's not an automatic Oklahoma year. I think we need to share the wealth.
Yeah. No kidding.
Um, so we'll see. I think this first round is gonna be nuts. I hope there's crazy upsets because that's what makes it fun. However, I think I only have two upset picks.
I
Baylor,
have
Baylor and Washington.
I have well, I picked U of U as an upset. I also picked Ole Miss and Miami, Ohio. I
You
picked
picked Miami, Ohio to win that whole thing against Tennessee.
I just want them to.
I hear you. I want $1 million, but
Hey, you never know.
you
You
never
never
know.
know. You never
Wow.
know. I want a big upset. Miami, Ohio would be a Dayton, like
That would be between them and Boston Terriers. I think that would be quite the upset. However, I feel solid with my picks. I truly can't pick right now who's gonna win it all.
you know. We'll go again, you know.
We'll go again. We'll go round by
Go
round.
again. We'll go again. We'll see what happens with upsets, you know.
When's this start? Tomorrow? Friday?
Tomorrow, the 17th.
Is tomorrow Friday?
Yeah, starts the 17th. May 19th complete. So,
And you know what's great about this is it's my favorite time of the year. One, it's the best, but two, it means my birthday's soon.
when's your birthday again?
May 31st.
Yeah, that's
Big
right.
3-0. You're getting old.
I'm only 33, dude.
30-30 on her way.
Hey,
Spending it in Indianapolis with Caitlin Clark.
nice. That's sweet. Big 3-0. My aunt's birthday is the 31st.
It's a great time. And you know, I was thinking about this, that the 31st, that's the last star birthday possible. So my 31st birthday will be my star birthday.
Yeah.
And then
Wow.
that's it. There's no
You
other star
really
birthday.
thought about that. Yeah, you really
I did.
thought about that.
I
Damn.
did. So not saying that I have high expectations for turning 30, but my 31st birthday I think should be bigger than my 30th.
Turn up.
So that's that. Great episode today, coach.
Yeah, I thought so too. Well, we'll see who comes out on top for our brackets, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of garbage to talk about next time.
I love garbage. Love it. For the people.
For the people.
Get in the kitchen.
Get in the kitchen.